You know that feeling when you check your savings account and there's something there? Like, it's not nothing. You've been working, you've been trying, you're not completely irresponsible with money, but it's also not growing the way you thought it would. Maybe it's $3,000, maybe it's $12,000 on a good year. But you look at that number and you think, I've been working for years. How am I not further along than this? My name is Dan, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, human behavior, and why some people seem to effortlessly glide past $50,000 in savings, while others get stuck in this weird financial plateau for what feels like forever. And honestly, after looking at the patterns, talking to people, and digging into the psychology behind it all, I've realized something kind of uncomfortable. Most people who are stuck under 50K aren't stuck because they don't earn enough. They're stuck because of 7 specific mistakes that are so subtle, so normalized, that they don't even realize they're making them. And here's the thing, once you see these mistakes clearly, once you actually understand why they're holding you back, the path forward becomes shockingly obvious. So let's talk about them. This is the first one, and it's so common it hurts. Most people get paid, the money hits their checking account, and it just sits there. They pay bills from it, they buy groceries from it, they transfer a little to savings if there's anything left at the end of the month. But here's what's actually happening. Your checking account becomes this chaotic, stressful pool of money where everything is mixed together. Rent money, fund money, emergency money, grocery money, it's all just floating around in one place. And because it's all mixed together, you have no idea what you can actually spend. So you end up spending too much because it looks like you have money, or you stress out constantly because you're never sure if you're about to overdraft. There's no structure, no clarity, just vibes. The people who break past 50K, they don't do this. They get paid and immediately, like same day, they move money into different buckets. Savings account, investment account, sinking funds for upcoming expenses. Their checking account only holds what they need for the next 2 weeks. That's it. And suddenly, saving isn't this vague thing they try to do. It's automatic. It's already done. Okay, this one's going to sting a little. You've heard it before, the whole skip the latte advice. And yeah, it's annoying and condescending. But here's what people miss. It's not about the $5 coffee. It's about the fact that small recurring expenses are invisible to most people. You're not thinking about the $15 a month streaming service you forgot you signed up for, or the $12 subscription box, or the $8 app you're not even using anymore. Individually, they're nothing, but you add them all up over a year and you've spent $800 on stuff you barely noticed. That's not wealth-building money. That's not even fun money. It's just gone. And I'm not saying you need to live like a monk. I'm saying you need to be aware, because the people who build wealth aren't necessarily the ones who deny themselves everything. They're the ones who spend intentionally. They know exactly where their money is going. And when you actually track it, when you see it written out, you realize how much is leaking through the cracks. This is a huge one. So many people operate with this belief that they'll start saving once they have extra money. Once the bills are paid, once things calm down a little, once there's something left over, then they'll save. But here's the brutal truth. There is never extra money. If you wait for extra money, you will never save. Because lifestyle expansion is real. You get a raise and suddenly you're spending more on groceries, eating out a little more often, upgrading your apartment. The money disappears. It always disappears. The people who break through 50K, 100K, 250K, they don't save what's left over. They save first. They pay themselves first. It's not extra money, it's the first money. And yeah, that means sometimes you have less to spend than you'd like, but that's the point. Saving isn't supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to be automatic. Let me tell you what actually happens when you don't invest. You save money in a high-yield savings account, which is great, honestly, everyone should have one. But you stop there. And over 10 years, maybe you build up $40,000, which is solid, except inflation has been eating away at it the whole time, and the purchasing power of that $40,000 is actually less than you think. Meanwhile, the person who started investing, even just a little bit, even just $200 a month into a boring index fund, they've got $60,000, $80,000, maybe more, because compound growth is real. And I get it, investing feels risky. The stock market goes up and down, and you don't want to lose money. But here's what people don't realize. Not investing is also a risk. It's the risk of your money slowly losing value. It's the risk of working for 30 years and having nothing to show for it, except a savings account that didn't keep up with the cost of living. You don't have to be a stock market genius. You don't need to pick individual companies. Just invest in low-cost index funds and let time do the work. That's it. That's the whole game. This one's uncomfortable, but we have to talk about it. You're out with friends, and someone suggests a restaurant that's fine, but it's $60 a person. Or someone's planning a trip, and it's $2,000 for the weekend. And you don't want to be the person who says no. You don't want to seem cheap. So you go. You spend the money, and it feels fine in the moment. But then you check your account a week later, and you're like, wait, where did everything go? Here's the thing. Some of your friends have more money than you. Maybe they earn more. Maybe their parents help them. Maybe they're in debt and just hiding it well. But if you're trying to keep up with people who are in a different financial situation than you will stay broke. You will stay stuck because you're spending money to match a lifestyle you can't actually afford. And look, I'm not saying ditch your friends. I'm saying get comfortable saying no. Get comfortable suggesting cheaper alternatives. Get comfortable being the person who's prioritizing their financial future over looking like they have it all together right now. Most people have no idea what their net worth is. And I don't mean that in a judgmental way. I mean, they literally don't know. They know their checking account balance, maybe their savings account balance. But net worth, that's everything you own minus everything you owe. And when you don't track it, you have no idea if you're actually making progress. You could be paying down debt, saving a little, investing a little, but if you're not tracking the overall number, it all feels meaningless. There's no sense of momentum. But when you start tracking your net worth every month, something shifts. You see it go from $5,000 to $8,000 to $12,000. You see the graph going up. And suddenly you're motivated. You want to keep that number climbing. It's not about the number itself. It's about the progress. And progress is what keeps you going. This last one's subtle, but it's maybe the most important. A lot of people hit $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in savings, and they just stop pushing. They think, okay, I've got an emergency fund. I'm doing fine. I'm ahead of most people. And yeah, maybe you are. But here's the thing. 50K is not the finish line. It's barely the starting line. Because once you hit 100K, the math changes. Compound interest starts doing real work. But if you stop at 50K, you never get there. You stay in this weird middle zone where you're not broke, but you're also not building wealth. The people who build serious wealth don't stop. Not because they're greedy, but because they understand that financial freedom isn't about having a little bit of money saved. It's about having enough money that you don't have to worry anymore. So here's the thing. If you're stuck under 50K, it's not because you're bad with money. It's not because you're not smart enough or disciplined enough. It's because you're making one or more of these mistakes built into the way we think about money that you didn't even realize were mistakes. But now you know. And knowing is the first step. The second step, pick one mistake, just one, and fix it this week. Not all of them, just one. And then next month, fix another one. Because that's how you break through. Not with some massive overhaul, but with small, consistent changes that add up over time.